All right, live for the first time tonight. Just need to check the audio. Restarted it. Let's see how it sounds on the TV. That's the only way to tell. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. Restarted it. Oh my! See how it sounds on the TV. That's the only. Oh my God! I didn't think I'd ever hear my voice correctly again. Wow. Oh man, don't know how long this is gonna last. So now I have got to. Well, pardon any lag. I've got to update the title and the description. I had a feeling that would work, as dumb as it is. Okay. Copy. Copy. Where can I update this at? Here? I can't do it live. Oh, where can I go? I can go to YouTube Studio. Yeah, it'll let me do this live. Okay. Content. Oh, there, you lazy bastard. Live. Right now. Here we go. Now I can update. Okay. Dark Shadows 112. Description. Yeah, description in there. Click the No AI Content button. This is not a devil worshipping channel. If that's what you're into, be into it elsewhere. And no live chat summary, no leaderboard, no live reactions. That's either AI or iStrain. Okay, description is updated. Just have to get, oh, wrong place, my YouTube chat room pulled up. And also Twitch. Updated. Here we go, getting closer. Sounded kind of okay when I clicked on my own show. Mouse is supposed to make it easier, so. Live chat. Great. There we go. What's up, one to go to? Glad you made it. He said, let's go. I know that's right. I know where those audio issues can go. Oh, no, I can't get my... I can't use the mouse to get my screen in the right place. Okay. It's just not meant for that. All right. And then Twitch. Where do I have Twitch? Twitch right here. Twitch chat room. I'm not live on Twitch. I don't think I can broadcast from Twitch since they have animations of the chat room now. I can't use it to watch any shows, certainly. that. That just sucks for me. There's great folks that use the Twitch chat room. It's just the new layout, plus the way some people donate to other shows rather than becoming Patreons of them makes it not usable. And you guys are awesome for sticking around. What's up, John Rogers? Glad you made it. I can almost guarantee you will not have to put up with any of this this time next year. I would like to be done by then. Okay. That's good. I'm gonna skip the recap. This is Dark Shadows episode 112. It aired November 29th, 1966. It is nighttime on the 17th day. We're in the cottage. The last thing we saw was Matthew Morgan told Victoria that he killed Bill Malloy and he's the one who's responsible for almost running her down with the car. And now since he's confessed that to her, he has to kill her. So he goes, he's got his hands on her neck, she screams. Just then the door opens, Liz came in, and he stopped. And Victoria just screamed that, Matthew killed Bill Malloy, and he was just trying to kill her. So that's where we open up. We're standing in there. Oh, voice is kind of crunchy. It's like I've been talking for 2 hours. But Liz can't believe it. Matthew says it's true. That he killed Bill, but it was an accident. Liz is shocked. He was my friend. Matthew, he was going to make trouble. And now Victoria's going to go and tell the sheriff everything. And he's all hyped up. They're trying to calm him down. Liz is just, no, she won't tell anyone. If I tell her not to, just, right, Vicky? And she's, yeah, yes. So Liz says, you trust me, don't you? Matthew's like, I do, but I don't trust her. He's in front of the door. No matter anybody tries to move, he's blocking the door. And he says, yeah, Miss Stoddard, she's the one person who's always been nice to him. And he's not going to let Victoria leave. Stands right in the doorway. This is like, okay, all right. Well, how about we just all talk about this up at Collinwood? Matthew says, why? Because the cops are up there looking for Vicky? No. Matthew says, you're a bad liar, Mrs. Stoddard. Matthew! He's like, she somehow got you to lie for her. And you've never lied to me before, and I'll kill you. He gets his hands almost up on her. Victoria screams, so he just realized what he's done. He's almost tried to kill his friend. He backs up, opens the door. He's gone. Good. That was a tense scene. So over in the foyer at Collinwood, door opens up. Victoria runs in. Liz is with her. Frank Garner and the sheriff are already there. Victoria, she's so frazzled. She tells them that Matthew had just tried to kill her because he killed Bill Malloy. And they hung around until they heard Matthew drive off and then came right back to the house. So they all go into the living room. Liz offers Victoria some brandy, pours some for herself. And Liz says to Frank that you asked if anyone was loyal enough to kill for me. And I thought of Matthew. But I didn't think he'd ever try to hurt anyone. That's when Victoria admits, well, yeah, Matthew said he pushed that stone urn at me, and then I ran to the cottage because it's closer to the old house in Collinwood. Which I thought that's what it was. I thought that the cottage was closer to the old house in Collinwood, just from what I've seen and heard, so I'm glad I'm right. But she got there, Matthew would not let her use the phone, and he knew what time that card almost hit her at 8 p.m. last night. And he admitted he did everything. He admitted all that stuff. He tried to hurt her, and then he tried to break her neck. And she gets too upset to talk, so Liz continues for her, saying that Matthew said he and Bill fought, and Bill slipped, and they only fought because Matthew thought that Bill was going to make trouble for me. And Victoria's got to chime in. She thought Matthew was going to kill Liz. And now Matthew never spoke about his private life, so they don't know where he would go. But Victoria, she can't relax until Matthew's been caught. So the sheriff asks to see the cottage. Liz takes him. They take off. And later Frank is saying that he's going to take Victoria out for the biggest steak in town. So probably to the Blue Whale. I mean, they might have steak at the diner, but I don't know what time it is. It might be too late for the diner. I don't think they're selling that. So right as they decide this, Roger returns. He's just got, he was just in jail for about 24 hours, so he's in no mood. Sees Victoria's upset and just looks at her. And as upset as she is, she still apologizes to Roger. Just, I'm sorry for what happened. Roger is super sassy in this scene. And she's like, I'm sorry. Roger's like, sorry? Sorry for what? Putting me through the worst experience of my life? Think nothing of it. Where's my sister? Oh, she's at the cottage with the sheriff. Thanks. Leaves. Frank's like, don't worry about him. We're going to go out and have a good time. So Victoria's going to leave a note for Liz that she's going out. Now, over at the cottage, the sheriff is reading a letter that's it's written to Matthew from a Walter Morgan. It's his brother that lives in Coldwater, and there's something in there about family property. So he gets on the phone to the highway patrol, and they tell him that Matthew's station wagon was spotted on Highway 105, going 80 miles an hour. And just then, Roger comes in, just tells Liz he just got back. And sheriff's like, yeah, sorry for all that pen business. And Roger's, yeah, everybody is sorry. So the sheriff takes off. And then Roger's kind of testing the waters. We see his face, but Liz doesn't. He's like, yeah, who would have thought that Matthew was responsible for Bill's death? And he waits for Liz, and she just, well, he did it for the family. So she buys it. So Roger says, yeah, well, that lovely Miss Winters is responsible for my time away from the house. You should fire her. Liz said, you didn't help anything by burying that pen. And don't forget about Burke. We've got to destroy him before he destroys us. So it's later on. We're back at the Collinwood foyer. It's Victoria and Frank just got back from their dinner. It had a great time. Victoria's smiling. And Frank invites her for a weekend up in Bangor sometime, and she agrees to that. No, it is later. So Liz comes downstairs. She's wearing like it's like a night dress, a bed robe thing, but it's got this sort of uniform, nondescript. It might be a colorful type of pattern. ties at the waist, 3/4 sleeve, not wearing any jewelry at all. It's like she's on her way to bed. But she lets them know that Matthew was spotted 50 miles away heading to Coldwater. And Victoria is relieved that she was afraid he was nearby. And we do get to see the teleprompter here. Not a great shot, but it's not the camera, it's the teleprompter. Oops. But Liz goes on to say she's sorry about what happened. And Victoria is also sorry for being suspicious of Roger. And they know what kind of attitude he had when he came back home. So Liz is just, Roger is being unreasonable. Pay no attention to him. I won't. And she said, and don't worry about Matthew. He's miles away. And cut to a shot of outside the old house. There's Matthew Morgan walking up the stairs holding his lantern. And he goes into the front door. And then we see the cottage for the credits. Sorry about that. Just checking my audio. Oops, went backwards. Just having a little bit of trouble with it today. This might be it. Hopefully this is it. Please. Sorry about that. Just checking my... It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I can continue. I'd cry, but I'm too tired. This is going to be in 2 hours. In real life, it's almost 8. It's almost 9 o'clock. So now we are finally on to episode 113. This aired November 30th, 1966. And it is still night on the 17th day. We're at the old house. And in the intro, it's Victoria saying that Matthew thinks the cops won't search the old house twice. They've already been out there once, so why would they look again? That's why he seems to feel safe going there now. And then we're in the drawing room of the old house. We can see to the right of the fireplace. So over here, we don't usually get to see this area. It's funny, the more the set is used, the less we see that particular corner. There's nothing there, it's just the corner of the room, but we never get to see that later on. It's there now if you want to, say, draw it or build it in Minecraft. But Matthew walks in, there's a bookshelf, just wall of books. There's not books, it's just the shelves. It's wider than a person. And he reaches into one of the shelves, and we don't know what he's doing, but suddenly the whole thing slides out. It's a door. And you can see that there's just a rope for a handle on the inside of it. He goes inside. There's a stool. It's got 2 shelves on the back wall. Like I say, this actor is about maybe 5'10", so like right about 2 shelves, right about head height for him. There's some rope hanging on a wall, some thicker rope, some thinner rope. All brick walls, all brick walls. So then it is morning. So now we were on day 18. We are at the Collinsport Inn. It's an exterior shot. It kind of pulls out too far. There's a sign I was trying to read, couldn't read it. The hotel is right next to a dead-end road. It seems like the kind of town that would have a lot of dead-end roads. But there's that's to the left of the building. So we are up in Burke Devlin's room. And Mrs. Johnson is telling him that, they found out who tried to kill Victoria and who killed Bill Malloy. It was Matthew Morgan. He confessed to Liz that he ran off into the night. Burke's like, I could have swore Roger was guilty. It's the same as 10 years ago. And Burke's like, well, you know what? I wouldn't run from anything, drunk or sober. And Mrs. Johnson, Roger'd run from anything to, quote, hide behind his sister's skirts. And she still thinks Roger is responsible for Bill's death because he didn't take responsibility for that accident 10 years ago. So she takes off. Later on, it's Burke's just, pours himself a drink, a day drinker. So I knock on the door, let him in. It's David. And he's just found out about all this stuff, and he wishes Roger had been arrested for Bill's death. And he's just going on to say he hates his dad so much because he was so mean to his mom, and that's what made her sick, and she had to go to the hospital. Burke knows that Matthew would say, David knows that Matthew would say anything Liz told him to. And it doesn't make sense because he saw his dad standing over Bill Malloy in his crystal ball. So Burke asks if he wants a drink. He makes those fruity drinks for him. So he takes him into the kitchen. We can kind of see what it is. If you recognize the cans, let me know, because it's like little cans like this. So it's sort of a light colored drink. So pineapple juice, maybe, and something else. It's like the two little cans. He pours into a cup and he gives it to David. So some fruity fruit juice drink. I don't know. It looks good. I want to try it. But David is saying that Josette and Bill's ghosts are real to him, and they would never lie to him. And then he goes on to say that Josette has to stay at Collinwood until a girl dies. Specifically, has to die up at Widow's Hill. And David's worried that that girl is supposed to be Victoria. So Burke says, doesn't she have to be a member of the Collins family? David's like, yeah, but Victoria doesn't even know herself. And then, David's a little mini detective. He thinks Matthew saw Roger kill Bill, and then he ran off. And then he also goes on to say he thinks that Mrs. Johnson was just there to see Burke. Burke tries to, why would she come up to see me? I barely know the woman. Says, did you see her leave the hotel? And David's like, no, I just saw her walking from that direction when I was walking this direction. Burke's like, yeah, and how many other people did you see walking the same way? Got him there. So over in Collinwood in the living room, there's Mrs. Johnson. She's got, like under the premise of dusting, but she's opening up drawers and looking in stuff and just going through papers, just super nosy, trying to find anything. So David walks in, he's on the foyer, so she comes out from the living room, stands in the doorway. He just takes his coat and throws it over the banister at the top of the stairs. And Mrs. Johnson's like, do you always hang up your coat that way? David's like, I didn't hang it up. I just laid it there. She's like, put it where it belongs. So he's, okay, picks it up. He actually walks, there's that little bit of the entrance. I say they haven't shot in there yet, but they could theoretically have hooks there for coats. David walks over there and hangs up his coat. We don't see the coat, but he's not holding it anymore, so we can assume like there's hooks. That's a character? What? So he does, and then he's going on to say, hey, I just saw you an hour ago at the inn visiting Burke Devlin. And Mrs. Johnson, oh, Burke Devlin, well, why would I see him? We have nothing in common. David's like, sure you do. All three of us do. We all hate Roger. And she says, I notice you're always watching him. Mrs. Johnson just, why would I watch, Mr. Collins? You're making that up. David's like, oh, kind of like have it your way. He's not going to argue a point with an adult. So he goes back over to his coat and picks it up, puts it on. Mrs. Johnson, where are you going? Well, David, he can't say or she'll laugh at him. Just like everyone else does. Except Burke, he never laughs at me. And then he just sort of blurts out like, hey, do you think he was driving that car that night, 10 years ago? Mrs. Johnson, what I do and don't believe doesn't matter. Just cops and juries want facts. David's like, well, okay, I'm just going to go ask my friends over at the old house. Mrs. Johnson's like, yeah, sure, you go do that. And you tell me, these friends, they can't appear in court, can they? David's like, no. Just like, well, there, so who's going to believe you? David's like, well, maybe they'll tell me something I can prove. He's out the door. Okay. Now it's the exterior of the old house. It's a day shot. Maybe that's sunset. The light is on the right side of the screen, like cast in low shadows. So that means that the old house must face east. Which, that's just good for me to know, since I haven't started building it yet, but now I know which way to turn it. That kind of stuff matters to me. So, okay, the old house faces east. We're learning. So David goes into the drawing room, up to the portrait of Josette above the fireplace. And he's just, asking for anything that can prove that Roger did all of those terrible things. And, well, where's Matthew? Maybe he can prove what my father did. Just give me a sign. As soon as he says that, just hands on his shoulders. That's Matthew. Going, how did you know I was here? David's like, I didn't. If Liz knew, do you think she'd let me come here? So he's like, check for yourself. Matthew goes over to there's a bay windows there. One of them, or a couple of them are broken out. They're rather dirty too, but he goes up and he's looking out. Can't see anybody out there. So David says that he wants to help him because Roger killed Bill Malloy. Matthew says that's not nice. And I don't know if I can trust you. David says, well, we'll wait here till I can find evidence. And the cops are going to find you if you run, so I'll bring you food and water and everything, and I'm the only one that comes here. And that sounds good to Matthew, so he agrees. Sure, I'll let this kid help me out. That's interesting. I didn't write what we see for the credit shot. I don't think I've ever done that before. Oh, it could be anything. It's kind of can't remember what happened in that episode because I only talked. I don't want to jinx it. It's sort of like those credit shots. It's not like that really. I mean, I guess it sort of means something. It's more to have a stationary shot if you wanted to, say, draw it or build it in Minecraft. You wouldn't have to find a spot in an episode. You could just hop right to the end of the episode. It's sort of like those credits. Oh my god. Oh my god, it worked. Oh my god, it worked. Oh my god. I got through 2 episodes. Things shouldn't be this hard. Alright, I do realize in real life it's after 9 p.m., so folks have to take off. I'm not going to take it personally. This is just... let me just keep going. Alright, so episode 114. This aired on December 1st, 1966. It's the 18th day. It's still morning. And we are in the living room. Roger's reading the newspaper. This is the first time I believe we've seen the name of the newspaper. It's the Collinsport Star. Okay, like movie star. I don't know what you'd call a newspaper in a small town. Just it's not like anybody outside of the area reads it, so they can call it what they want. But Roger's minding his own business with the paper. Victoria comes downstairs and she's trying to just a little bit too hard to be nice to him, but it's understandable. She legitimately feels bad for blaming him and suspecting him. It's like, oh, good morning, Roger. Oh, coffee's sitting right there. Well, would you like a cup of coffee? And he's just on to her. It's like, I see what you're trying to do. And she's like, what? He just wants to forget about being accused of murder. Doesn't want it brought up again. So the phone rings, and it's Burke. He wants to meet with Victoria, and she agrees. It hangs up. Roger knows who she was talking to. And he says, well, you're my enemy too if you insist on seeing him. So we are over in Burke's room. Victoria's there. And she's telling him that Matthew confessed to killing Bill. And Burke's just glad she's okay. And Victoria's just glad she doesn't have any information against the Collins family. She's like, Liz gave her a home, that she doesn't want to be involved in any of this. And then she lets Burke know, we shouldn't see each other anymore. So before she leaves, Burke kisses her. And, just once, and she's not exactly 100% into it. Maybe about 80%. Why are you kissing me, guy? But she didn't stop him, but it's slightly awkward. But she's got to go. She leaves. Later on, we're still there, but it's phone rings. That's Mr. Blair on the line with good news. All right, so we're in the living room with Liz. She's wearing this. It's a long sleeved, light colored dress. It's got these four bands for the collar. It's just like four of them across the collar, and then also around the cuffs of the sleeve. And she's got her pearls, pearl earrings, not a necklace with this, and then this like medium gray colored just stone in a brooch. I don't know if we've seen this one too many times, but it's I couldn't guess what color the stone is in real life, but it's not super dark, it's not diamond, so just medium gray. And then those gold C-shaped Frito earrings. And there's like at the hip, it's this woven detail. It's like a upside down triangle, like like when you have this wavy pattern and it all connects to each other. Like two of those, like right, where is that? Like at the hips on the dress to kind of draw the eye in. See, Roger is still sitting there with the newspaper when Liz comes in. And she looks at him. She's like, "Oh, have you decided to start taking mornings off?" Dude's never in the office anyway. Get him, girl. So over in the foyer, David's there. He wants to head out. Liz is like, "No, you get upstairs and you finish the homework that Miss Winters left for you." So he goes back up. So over in the living room, the phone rings. It's Burke. And Liz picks up. And he's saying that he won the bid for the Logansport Enterprises. That was the good news Mr. Blair had. So over in the Collinwood kitchen, there's David. He's got a big brown paper bag that looks like it's been slapped around a few times, but he opens up the cabinets. He's just grabbing cans down, just loading this thing up. Mm, that's what's hot. Then over in the living room, there's Roger. Telling Liz, "Oh, just sell the cannery. It's a hassle, it's a headache. Just get rid of it." Liz says, "You give up without a fight." She's not trying to hear that at all. So as they're talking, there's David, coming from the kitchen. Hears them talking in the living room, doing his eavesdropping. But he's got this, big sack of food that he's taken out, so he just heads on out the door. And over in the living room, there's Roger saying that he feels sorry for Matthew. We holed up somewhere all because of them. And then we see the exterior of the old house. It does like long shadows. The sun is on the left. So that would be the west, since it's getting to be later on in the day. But then back in the living room, Liz gets on the phone to Richard Garner, and he's just explaining to her that they had to accept Burke's bid because Liz did not counter put in a counter offer soon enough. They couldn't wait, so it went to Burke. So that's when Victoria gets back home, and she's just saying that Burke heard what happened, just wanted to see him okay. Roger's like, did he tell you what he did? Victoria's like, no, and Liz tells her, well, he bought the Logansport Enterprises. And Victoria's like, well, it's whatever. I'm not going to see him ever again. And she feels like she's part of the family. She doesn't want to betray their trust, and that's why. So Roger says to Liz to think of Carolyn and David before you try to fight Burke. Liz says, I am. She wants them to learn to fight for what they want. And there's Roger. Oh, you never admit when you're wrong. You're so stubborn. And Liz is like, well, yes, I am stubborn. And once my mind is made up, it stays that way. Tell him, girl. So over in the foyer, Victoria, came back, went upstairs, came back down. She can't find David anywhere. Then we see the exterior of the old house again, and David is leaving. He doesn't have his sack of food with him anymore. Now over in the foyer, Liz is saying to Victoria, she's like, you know what? You look flushed when you came back from seeing Burke. You still kind of seem that way. But right now, that's when David just comes back in, and he's like, oh, I was out feeding the birds. Has anyone seen Matthew? Roger says the sheriff said he vanished. Yeah, and then we get a shot of the old house at sunset. And we see the foyer for the credits. All right. Just have to make sure my audio is sticking with me. I hope so. And we see the foyer for the credits. It is. I could get used to having the audio not mess up. Wow, I just need to check exactly what time this began so I know right about when to wrap up. 8:35? Or can I write that down? This started at 8:35 p.m. But why does it use it? I just realized now it uses AM and PM and not the military time. That's why I use a 24-hour clock. Okay, just. Oh, Lisa Gray says you're 5x5 on my end. Yeah, it's it would have been great if it did this 2 hours ago, but it is what it is. As long as it sticks with me, so far so good. Something to drink. I know my voice isn't usually this crunchy. Alright, episode 115 aired December 2nd, 1966. We're still on that 18th day, but it's evening now. We're at the old house, and what I don't get is how nobody noticed David carrying an entire paper bag, grocery bag of food to the old house. Because remember, like, this kid's 8 years old, so like he's about 2 grocery bags tall. So how did he carry like this whole thing? Nobody noticed him, like, there and back. It is private property. It's not like there's just randos up there, but he was just able to sneak out, come back. So, okay, good for you. What, David? He's in there, just kind of in the drawing room, just kind of looking around, and suddenly Matthew's behind him, and he jumps a bit, and it's like, "I startled you, didn't I?" And David, "No, he didn't scare me." And Matthew's like, "Yeah, I did." He's like, I've seen fright on a lot of people's faces over the years." He's acting a little bit weird. He's probably loopy from the hunger, because like, how long ago did he eat? Yesterday for lunch. So, and he's been up all night. I don't know if he slept. It wasn't anywhere comfortable. If he's just sleeping in that little room. There's no heat in the old house. Oh yeah, John Rogers. Yeah. Good night. Take it easy. Smash that like button on the way out. It helps out the channel. Trying to get to 999 subscribers and just skirt monetization. I don't want ads. I've got enough interruptions checking the audio. That's what I should do when I'm checking the audio. I should start like, hey, subscribe to this, buy that, look at this. Minecraft's $30 last I knew, not sponsored. But over in the foyer, Victoria's got her luggage, and she's just setting it down right there at the bottom of the stairs. Not that you could trip over it, it's off to the side. And she goes into the living room. Oh my god, yes, here we go. This is one of my favorite outfits on Liz. I call it her checkered skirt outfit. Like, when I first saw it, my thought was it's supposed to be like it is not Chanel, but it's supposed to be Chanel. Like, it's just like just the way it's cut. I'm not a huge fashionista, but like you get to know certain styles and cuts of clothing, and Chanel is kind of timeless in that way. So it's this. I can't really recall what color it is in color. So like white and maybe a gold colored checkered, not plaid checkered. So, but she's got the coat is just like she doesn't have her arms through the sleeves. It's just kind of loose, hanging just over her shoulders. It's got 5 buttons on it. There's a collar. Short sleeves on it too, about to the elbow. It's got the pearl earrings, one strand of pearl necklace, and she's got a double pearl bracelet. Let me think. Watch. So it would be on her right wrist. It just like pearls about the same size as she was wearing the necklace, but it's just a double pearl bracelet. And like she usually has there's some gold. It looks like a gold band, but it's a watch on her left wrist. And Victoria's saying that she is going to spend the weekend in Bangor to see Frank. And then she's gonna, maybe on Sunday, she's just gonna chill out and go to a concert or something like that. And Liz is like, good, get out of here, have fun, forget all about Collinwood. Do you have enough money? She's like, sure, I'm good. And Liz just wonders, where could Matthew be? Jump over to the drawing room. There's David saying, no one followed me here. I waited to make sure. and no one knows how smart I am. And Matthew agrees. There's a knocked over table. He kind of sets that up on its legs, and he pulls some chair over to him. It's like, good, David. You play dumb, play tricks on everyone, so you get the last laugh. And they got the bag sitting there. He's pulling some stuff out. I swear this says zoo crackers. It's not like a little animal crackers box, but it says zoo crackers. So I didn't know animal crackers came in a bigger box. And it pulls out a can of soup. It's probably just Campbell's soup with the Campbell's part, covered up. And thanks him. That shakes his hand. And David just going on. I'm good at keeping secrets, and I know them all. This is where it is. Over in the foyer, Liz, that gold bracelet I mentioned, it is a watch, because as she's talking to Victoria, she looks at it, takes it off, looks up at the clock, just make fiddle. Why? Who thought it was a good idea to make women's watches with the teeniest, tiniest face you've ever seen? Like, women aren't supposed to know what time it is, but men get to wear the big, chunky watches. And if anybody needs to know what time it is, I would want my wife to have a huge face on her watch. Like, no, you need to know exactly when I need my dinner, woman. I don't know why that was the style. I've seen teeny tiny watches like that. You're just supposed to feel time moving as a woman. I don't know who thought that was a thing. But she just makes sure that the time is right on her watch. And she's telling Victoria, don't, this place is kind of she doesn't say this, it's kind of a head fuck in the way it makes you kind of be stuck in the past. And she tells Victoria that she needs to think about the future. And Liz says that when I think of all the years I've lived in the past, and she is, trying to change in her own way. She's working on it. That's what she says. And Victoria's like, but you're not succeeding. And Liz is like, maybe I'm an example of what you could become if you live in the past. Victoria says, don't talk that way. I wish I had your strength. Liz is like, you think I have strength? She's like, if I had strength. She looks at the front doors as she says it. And then she just kind of snaps out of it. And she's kind of, like when you realize you shouldn't say what you should keep saying, so you stop saying it, then you start to think of something else to say. That's when she's like, oh, I haven't seen David since lunch. Victoria's like, yeah, he's probably at the old house, and I hate it over there, but I'll go look for him and just see if he's there. This is like, are you sure? Don't you have to catch your bus over to Bangor? And Victoria's like, it's fine. It's, she'll just go there and look and just hop right back over. And then she'll be out of town. So she's basically saying, like, bye for now, because she's going to look for David. Then she's going to come back, grab her bag, hop on the bus, be in Bangor for the weekend. So deuces. So she picks her bag up from by the stairs, and she sets it over by that little walk area when you first step in where David had hung his coat up. Well, she just takes it, she just sets it down there on the floor. Like if you were to open the door and walk in, it wouldn't be in the way. It's just off to the side, like a foot. We can see the set wall on the right. Like they didn't realize we were going to see the wood that the walls are made out of there. But it's kind of like to hold still and maybe nobody will notice. So a close up of Victoria's luggage there. So there's your close up. Now we're back over in the drawing room, and Matthew's chowing down now. He's got a couple slices of bread there, and then there's a second can that he's actually got opened up. Maybe it's like pork and beans or something like that. It's not just like say tomato soup. It's got some texture in it, like there's chunks or something like that. Oh, what's up, Dragon Sage? Glad you made it. Smash that like button right meow. Matthew's saying a hungry man will eat almost anything. David says, well, they'll think I'm eating all the food. But he seems to have it all worked out. He's saying how, there's something in my eye. David doesn't say that, but I do. David says that you can, I figured it out. You can stay here for years. That's because everyone's too scared to go there. Matthew's like, yeah. It's like something at the old house makes it impossible for anyone to find me. And I'll tell you what that is before I leave. David's like, ghosts? Yeah, you think that for right now. Matthew's like, yeah, too bad there isn't some after dinner brandy to go with this. David's like, oh, well, I didn't know you'd want any. My dad's got a ton of it. So this is just when outside you can hear Victoria calling for David. So they, put like the stuff that hasn't been opened up back in the bag. They take it off to the side, set it behind something, put everything away. And then Matthew's hiding up against the wall. When you walk into the old house, you're in the foyer, and then you make a left. There's these two like columns, but then like sort of like if here's the door, you would like go around the columns, and then there's a wall there. So that's where Matthew's hiding, as he's got his back up against the wall, almost completely up in the corner there, holding really still. And Victoria walks in, and there's David right there. She walks in a little way, and she looks down at the floor like, what's that? David's like, oh, that's just a piece of bread, like the end of the bread, like the heel. Oh, he was just gonna leave it there. Victoria's like, you gonna let the ants march off with that? David says, rats. Victoria kind of just, this kid. But she's like, well, you got to get back, so let's go back to the house. And David's like, oh, okay. But then he turns like away from her to face just out into the room and kind of says it a lot louder. But I'll be back tomorrow. Okay, let's go. Now, what happened was when Victoria saw that piece of bread there, she bent down to pick it up, and as she stands back up, her wallet falls out of her pocket. She had her hands in her pockets the whole time. So that wallet just stays there. We see that as they walk out. Next thing you know, Matthew comes up and he picks it up, opens it up, looks inside. I think we can see some cash in there. So it's one of those wallets that fold closed. I personally like to keep my bills straight, but I realize ladies' wallets were probably just like that back then. Just me personally, if you find something that somebody lost and they're gonna come back for it, leave it there, because if they go to look for it and it's not there, they're just gonna look around more for it. he didn't think of that. And it's not like he's trying to get in there to, like, steal cash out of it. Like, I don't get that vibe. I mean, like, yes, he does need cash, but I don't think he's necessarily thinking that far ahead, thinking I'm going to need money. Or maybe he's got enough. Who knows? I don't know if he had his wallet on him when he ran out. I know I'm brushing my hair. After so many hours, it seems to become unruly on camera. It does what it wants. But we're back in Collinwood in the foyer. Liz is on the phone with the sheriff, just trying to see any word about Matthew. And that's when Victoria and David come back. And Liz lets them know, yeah, that they've got cops on all the highways. Other states have been notified. The border with Canada. David says they won't catch him. Maybe he's got friends hiding him. And they just sort of let that go. Oh, Dan, you still lurking? Thank you. Glad you're here. So Liz is like, hey, Miss Winters went out to look for you, even though she's got to go catch a bus. So you should apologize to, wasting everybody's time, ever having her traipse out there just to bring your ass back. And he, does apologize. It's kind of like when you tell Bart Simpson to apologize. He's really not, Well, there's a great line where Marge tells Bart to apologize, maybe to Lisa. Bart's like, do I have to? My apologies always sound so forced. And she's like, just do it. But this is when Victoria, hands in her pocket. She's like, wait, my wallet's missing. Maybe I dropped it climbing over that fence. They took a shortcut back to the Collinwood. Oh, that's fine. I'll just go back out that way to look for it, and that'll be gone. And Liz is like, well, I can, borrow you some money to, get you through. Like, oh, no, it's fine. I'm sure I know where it is. I'm just going to grab it, and then I'm going to go, so I'll see you. So over in the living room, Liz is out loud just wonders about David's loyalties. And David is saying, oh, he doesn't know who to be loyal to, or to whom to be loyal to. And Liz is like, well, that's easy. You need to be loyal to the people who love you. Your family comes first, and then your friends. And you give your father a chance to prove he loves you. David's like, he's had plenty of chances. And David wants to be loyal to someone else. So now we're at a new location. It's this old fence. It's like you get like the three beams going across, but the top one like the nail came out, so it's at a slant. It's a tall enough for an adult to like you just lift your legs over to. I don't think you want to take a running jump over. It depends how tall you are. I'm personally not that nimble. But she's just looking, like at trees, rocks, and she's just looking around and just looking behind a stone here, looking behind the post, just trying to just see if it's around anywhere. It's not. So back in the living room, Liz is saying that that two people should be important to each other. David's like, and we would do things for each other. Liz is like, yeah, that's the gist of it, yeah. So David says, well, how do you know when someone is loyal? Liz is like, well, just listen to them, see if they mean what they say. by what they do. And that there shouldn't be any secrets between people who trust each other. And it's almost like a light bulb goes off in David's head, and he's like, now I know how to test loyalty. Don't give him any fuel to add to his fire, but he knows that now. Oh no. Now he's gonna be worse. At the old house, Victoria's walking up. It looks like it's white. It's like stone that was just whitewashed. It just painted white. And the entrance is on the right. We never, unless it's Matthew Morgan walking, and we never see anybody like just go up to. Wait, do we see it here? I don't know if we've seen it yet. Like there is a front porch. It's like you have to go off to the right to get to the front porch set that we. If we haven't seen it now, we'll see it later on. You can tell I've seen this house before. So Victoria goes into the drawing room. Well, I mean, first, she's looking down at the floor. The wallet is not there. It's not like Matthew picked it up, looked at it, and admired it and set it back down. No, it's just gone. So as she's looking at the floor where her wallet would have been, that's when she's in the drawing room, and she can't help but notice this. We see it too. It's clearly these giant friggin' footsteps just leading up to that bookcase. And as she's looking at that, and we're piecing it together, she's piecing it together. From behind her, we hear lose something. And there's Matthew standing there with her wallet. Like I say, should have left it there. And if he would have left it there, she would have gone there, picked it up, and left and never come back. But he had to pick it up, and then she comes back to look for it. Now he's got it, and we see the drawing room for the credits. If you find something, even if you're the type to steal, which you shouldn't be, just leave it there. If somebody's gonna miss it, they're coming for it. But it's Matthew. He's just not the type to really think things through, it seems. Oh, where was I at? Here we go. But it's Matthew. He's just not the type to. Yeah, if my audio does sound a little bit fuzzy, it's there's a tornado. It's 1932. Someone is frying bacon somewhere. Not in my house, but somewhere. That's as close as we're gonna get with this channel. Sorry, I got something on my glasses. Ugh. Hang on. Ah, shit. Ugh. Glasses clean and break. This feels like election night, quite frankly, when we show up at 7. And then, how long did it last time? I remember the first time we sat up and watched election results come in. It was 2016. And yeah, it was a lot of us there, including one of the Franklies that was also an Anthony Vincent Music, a French guy. Jean-Pierre. But he plays sort of like a 90s punk music, like a band, like legit. One time he sent in his music, and Frank and Anthony got up and danced. That's the only time I've ever seen them dance. But he was up there watching with us from France. There we go. And it got to be, we were done at 2 a.m. and he was talking about how the sun was coming up and everything. Like, damn, dude, you are friggin' committed to being here. That is awesome. Okay, just a little, about an hour into this. Lisa says, it's the tornado winds from here. Yeah, that's what it is. It's slowed to 32 miles an hour with 45-mile-an-hour gusts now. Oh, well. And I'm sure it's gusting like an MF or two. Uh, Maybe that landed in the trash. Or next to it. Oh, pardon me, my nose is a little bit drippy. It's just because it's so cold in here. That's not gonna help out my voice or my nose any. That's okay. Okay, what was I doing? Water. You can tell this is water, not vodka or gin, or I'd be like half in the bag. So, but episode 116 aired December 5th, 1966. It's the 18th day. We're at nighttime. We're in that drawing room. And Matthew grabs Victoria. Don't scream. No one will hear you. And you shouldn't have been snooping. It's too bad you found me. And he, lets go of her. She doesn't run, but he says, I'm not going to let you leave. So this is all your fault. I was safe here until you found me. Don't think of running. So that's when he grabs her again. He goes over to the wall, or the bookshelf. It's like there's a switch inside, like on the side of the wall, inside the bookcase, like the third shelf. And there's, Victoria, no, she doesn't want to go in there, of course not. She's not, there's no way she's getting away from this guy, so all she can do is say no, but he's taking her in there. That's the old house secret room, not the secret room that David had up in the West Wing. But over in Collinwood in the foyer, a knock at the door. Mrs. Johnson opens it, and there's a cabbie there. Like, somebody call for a cab? Oh, yes. So, Mrs. Johnson hollers up the stairs for Vicky a few times. Waits. Oh, she must have left and, forgot to cancel the cab. Sorry about that. Probably just already gone for the weekend. And dude's like, too bad. So he takes off. So Mrs. Johnson, she walks into the living room. There's newspaper on the floor. We've never seen a newspaper on the floor. Who drops a newspaper on the floor? And there's that window left open, so she closes that. I need some Visine, just a second. See to do this. So over in well, we're in that secret room behind the bookcase. And Matthew's saying how not even Liz knows about this room. And now those shelves have those shelves that were behind him about head height for him. There's looks like a couple of cans, maybe a box up there. We can't really tell exactly what kind of stuff it is. It seems like, food. And now there is like down on the floor. There's a super thin mattress, kind of like that sort of cot thing Victoria was on in the secret room that was up in the West Wing. Just really like the thinnest mattress you can get away with, and you put it on some springs. But it's just on the floor. Yeah, and there's that right wall with the robe. There's cobwebs. Just he's not trying to dust anything off while he's staying in there for a couple of days. But Matthew tells her that he's been there since he ran off. And at first he drove away. He drove over 100 miles, but then he couldn't think of anywhere to hide, so he came back. Victoria says they'll find your car. Matthew's like, nah, I've got it hidden in the woods. Like, I'm going to wait here for a while until they stop looking for me, and then I'm going to go sign on to a fishing ship. They won't care who I am. I'll spend the rest of my life at sea. Victoria said, oh, that could take months. How will you get food? Matthew's like, don't worry, someone's looking after me. A friend. It's like, you couldn't turn everyone against me. It's like, you did the worst thing a person can do to someone. You turned friend against friend. He's like, you turned Liz against me and made her lie for you. Then you tried to trick me and turn me into the cops. And Liz would never have done that in the old days. And well, why'd you do it? And why do you hate me? Victoria said, I never said one word to you about Liz. Matthew, you think I believe your lies? I know what's going on. Then Victoria calls him insane. He's pacing around. She says that. He goes right back to her. Yeah, don't say that. I should have killed you when I had the chance. Then at first he starts to choke her. He does have his hands on her neck. But then he decides not. He just pulls her over to that mattress, just tosses her down there. And Victoria's upset. She's got her head down as she's crying. She's scared. It's scary. It's kind of hard to watch. So over in the living room, Liz walks in. Mrs. Johnson's in there cleaning and picking up. She's got a vase and flowers. I don't know flowers, plus this is black and white. They look like little pom-poms. They've got a stem that's about a foot and a half long. And then it's like a pom-pom. Not exactly like what cheerleaders have, but it's this ball of petals. It's a few of them. A light colored gray. What are the flowers that are just balls of petals? I don't know. I haven't seen My Fair Lady in years. There's nothing like that in Minecraft. It's those. I guess they're pretty. I don't know. They're not roses. They're not daisies. I don't know. Chrysanthemums. Maybe that's what it is. Yeah. Thank you, Lisa. You guys would know. Oh my God. Oh, that was loud. It does the cha-ching. I thought I forgot how. Thank you. Let me pull this up. It's thinking. It's being dramatic. Thank you, Dandy. It says, thanks for being here, Nikki. Now get yourself a coffee. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I've got to, thank you. I think I've got like a scoop or two of keto brains left. I can pop in there. That's what I needed for this. I didn't realize it would be a marathon. I'm used to running on fumes. It's fine. I would say I'm tired, but I've been tired since April. It's all good. Thanks, man. It's probably a chrysanthemum. You know what? Thank you. I know what to look up now. Now it's a chrysanthemum. Oh, let's see. Chrysanthemum. That's what it is. That's what it is. It's this ball of just petals. Yeah, like these green ones here. They got like some pale yellow ones, white ones. Like the ones Liz have seem to be the same color gray, but that's what they are. Just ball of it's like softball size, like a popcorn ball, if they still make those. Oh, I miss popcorn. Oh my God. Or dahlias. Oh yeah, I forgot dahlia's a flower. Just think of the black dahlia. Dahlia images. I think it might be the chrysanthemums. These have a little. Oh well, I don't know. Maybe it is a dahlia. If they show those flowers again in color, I could be like, oh, but yeah, one of those. Probably chrysanthemums, but yeah, thank you. I don't know, flowers. Cool. That's what they are. But she's telling her, a checkered outfit that I love. Looks like Chanel. And then she's kind of busy messing with the flowers. She's kind of a little bit more focused on that. Like she thinks Victoria's out of town. She knows David's in the house. Roger's not in jail, so she's slightly less stressed out than she might usually be. But she's arranging her flowers. And just, oh, where's Carolyn? Mrs. Johnson, oh, probably on a date. She asked me to press a dress, and whenever she asks me to press a dress, that usually means she has a date. It's like, well, it's odd she didn't tell me where she's going. I told her I'd be up working on the ledgers. Did Victoria leave? Mrs. Johnson, I guess. Did she order a cab? Because a cabbie showed up, but she's out. So maybe Carolyn gave her a ride into Collinsport. This is like, wait. Victoria left her luggage by the stairs, so she walks over into the foyer, looks down at the spot of the floor where she had first set down her luggage. Oh no, it's not there, so she must have left, so she goes right back into the living room. But then we see another shot from the other camera where we know where the luggage is by the door. We see a shot of that. Like, if Liz would have looked up and done this, she would have seen it, but she kind of didn't have a reason to. But later on, Mrs. Johnson comes in. She hands Liz the paper. And we see the front of the newspaper. It says, escaped killer still at large. And this angry looking picture of Matthew Morgan, just like top lighting, like shadows underneath here. Like you couldn't have found a scarier picture of the man. And Mrs. Johnson's like, I hope they put him in jail for the rest of his life. And Liz is just, well, I pity him. Mrs. Johnson turns around and looks at her like, you pity the man who killed Bill Malloy? Liz says, well, he thought he was protecting me. It's the way I think of it. I feel like I lost two friends. I still consider Matthew Morgan a friend. Mrs. Johnson, you consider him a friend? This is like in the 18 years, he was one of the few friends I had. But just then the phone rings, and it's Frank Garner saying that Victoria was not on the bus she said she was going to arrive on. This is like, oh, well, she left 2 hours ago and her bag's not here. Yeah, this is after she's hung up, and Mrs. Johnson saying, well, you know what, maybe she was just late and caught the next bus. Buses are come around about every hour around here. Now, what happens is they hold up the newspaper. I spent so much time on this. Oh my God, I spent so much time on this. It's almost impossible, but they hold up the paper. Oh, hydrangeas. Could be. The date on the newspaper, it's just close enough to barely make it out, but just far enough away that we can't make it out. So it's, and then there I was Googling, like what's the month with the most numbers in it, search. I was thinking it was September. It's September. So I'm like, okay, maybe, big maybe, the paper says September. Plus, there's, we know it's 1966. So they're not going to use a different number. So, never mind the year. It's 1966. But, okay, we got a super long month. It's not April or May or nothing like that. And then 2 digits next to it. I swear it's a 1 and a something. It's just that far enough away. It's not like the camera. It's the camera zooms in on it and we cut to another scene, so we don't get to focus on it that long. But I was steady trying to slow everything down and frame it ahead to it. Again, we do get a proper a date later on. This isn't it. I wondered why my notes didn't have anything written down about the day. It's just really too blurry to read. Rain. Gia. Images. Oh, hydrangea? Yeah, those are like little ball pom-pom looking. Ooh, they come in purple. Whoa. Like a lavender color. Wow. It could be, yeah. I didn't get a good look at the leaves on it, so that would have helped out. But it did have leaves. It could be now hydrangeas come in purple. Hold on, I like that. All right, cool. I have absolutely no idea what these smell like. Dandy says, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Depends on the season. Yeah, see, we have to know what year it is to know what kind of flower it is. Come on, man. Throw us a freaking bone here. So it's September. Let's hold off on that. This is not a definite date, so it's still up in the air as to when this is. That's okay. So over in that secret room behind the bookcase, Victoria is starting to cry. It's understandable. Matthew's like, I should have killed you. Don't call me insane again. I lose my temper easy. I'm just a harmless old man. I never meant to kill anyone. Victoria's like, I know, right? The sheriff thinks it's an accident because that's what I told him, and that's what Liz told him. Matthew says, why are the cops? Why are there still cops and roadblocks then? Victoria's like, the cops have not been here. They call them the police and the sheriff. I call them cops, so that's why that. But Victoria says, the cops haven't been here since you left. They think you're hundreds of miles away. So Matthew says, well, why'd he tell me I'd be arrested if I leave? Victoria's like, I don't know, but you can leave right now, and no one will stop you. And Matthew, he doesn't know if he believes her. So then we're back in the living room, and Frank Garner has just phoned, and he said that Victoria was not on the next bus either. And, Liz told her that. So Mrs. Johnson says, well, maybe Carolyn drove them both up to Bangor and just made a stop somewhere. This is the episode. Will somebody please WD-40 the camera, because like we can hear the wheels squeaking in more than one scene. Like I don't care what you got to do. Like get some lard, get some cooking spray. I don't know what they had. Oh, you're fine, Lisa. Super squeaky camera wheels. It's just this episode, but it got to be just a tad much for my ear. Lisa says you can change hydrangea color, water. Pardon me, I can't read. You can change hydrangea flower color by altering the soil pH level. Wow. That's way too sciencey for me. That blows my mind when people can do that kind of stuff. Whoa. She's like, it's after 6 p.m. My typing skills are waning. I heard that, yeah. That's okay. We've only got about, 8, 9, 10. I'll be stopping at about 8, or not 8, sorry, 10:30. I've got 22:06 right now, so I'm thinking like 22:35 to make it 2 hours. So we're pretty far. Finally. So as far as Carolyn goes, Liz just decides to, well, she gets on the phone, calls somebody up. Is Joe Haskell there? Oh, he's out. Oh, okay, thanks, bye. She had just spoken to Joe's landlady. Apparently, he's not in. So they figure, Mrs. Johnson figures that, well, if Carolyn's car's gone, that means that she drove Victoria. So I'll go check. Mrs. Johnson seems to have picked up on people's routines very quickly. I mean, like, yes, it's her job, but yes, she seems like a type of nosy person anyway. I mean, people do have their routines anyway. It's not like you're being nosy for really noticing, but she's really on it more than, say, like, a Mrs. Johnson is going to notice someone's routine before Carolyn Wills. That's where that is. So she heads out. Then we're back in the secret room. And Matthew says, well, if I don't see any cops out there, then I'll go. Thomas Collins says, I love you guys. Yeah, same. I love seeing you guys. You guys make it all worth it. So Victoria's like, well, if you go, how will I get out? Matthew just, someone will find you. Just give me 2 hours before you leave, and I'm trusting you. And you'll be sorry if you don't do as I say. And then he takes off. So Victoria, she's next to the door. She's listening, like footsteps walking away. We hear the front door open. We hear it close. And I don't know, maybe about 10 seconds later, she walks out of that room. So she steps out. She's in, the drawing room. Just looks around a little bit. Basically just heading for the front door. There's nobody in there, and it's quiet. Gets up to the door. Opens it. I believe this is the first time we see it. New location. It's the old house porch. Like I was, we haven't seen it from this side of it before. I will say the doors changed later on. Like there's no knocker on the door. Like later on there will be. Spoilers. It's wooden doors, brick wall. I don't know if we can exactly see the bay window there, but it's just a front porch area with the two double doors to get in. There's sort of a wide area away from the house, and then it's like if you walk away from the door for, I don't know, like take a step or two, it's like there's steps going down, and then you're just on the grass. You can walk around. But she steps out there, and she's looking off to the side, because the old house is basically just sort of behind her. She should have looked behind her, because next thing you know, a hand comes up over her mouth. There's Matthew just dragging her back inside. That didn't last too long. But he's just pushing her back through, dragging her in, and it closes the doors, and it closes the secret door, bookshelf behind her. It's like, I knew I couldn't trust you. And then he goes like when they get close to the camera and it's everything goes black, so it's like him getting close to her like that because they're right in front of the camera. She screams. That's one of the scariest screams she's ever done. I was legit creeped out at this point, like, whoa. Thomas Collins, the devil doesn't beat on a whooped horse. We have to start feeding Nikki better. Yeah, it's getting bad when you Google how much Karen Carpenter weighed when she died. So yeah, it's interesting. It's new. I've never been this small as an adult. Lisa Gray says, I'm going to check out. Time to feed that guy who's been hanging out here for decades. Love you, Nikki and Gag. Yeah, take it easy. Yeah, feed that guy. It's gotta be entertaining if you're keeping him around. Yeah, smash the like button on the way out. Yeah, we see the old house front doors from the porch, so we get to see that porch area again for the credits. That's good. We will see a lot more in the future, but for now, that's the first time I get to see it. Wow. It's kind of cute watching the first episodes because you don't realize what's going to come up later in like hundreds of episodes and whatnot. Oh, just checking the audio. Come on, man, be cool. I've got planets in Sagittarius. It's kind of cute watching the first episodes because you. Oh, okay. The audio gets tinny. I've got to play it back. Oh, or do it again. All right. Cool. What? No, I can do one more episode. Yeah. Okay. It'll be fine. Yeah, I got about like 20 minutes left. It's cool. Oh, that'll be next episode. But this is episode 117. This aired on December 6th, 1966. We are on the 14th disc. It's day 18. Still, it's nighttime on the property. And in the intro, here we go again. Victoria said, months ago when I came to Collinwood, because in universe it's 18 days. In real life, it's been July, August, September, October, November. It's been over 5 months, so that's for the kids watching at home. That's not for the characters. But the clock shows 9 p.m. on the dot. The one in the foyer, that's the only clock we've been seeing so far. But 9 p.m. on the dot. It's night. We're in the living room. And Mrs. Johnson comes back and says that Carolyn's car's gone. Maybe she did drive Victoria up to Bangor. And she can't be with Joe because he would have picked her up in his car. And Liz is just worried. She just thinks Victoria's in trouble. She has a feeling. She says, that girl seems to court disaster. And then later on, Liz is saying, well, what, when Liz saw that picture, that scary picture of Matthew in the newspaper, like, that's when she got a bad feeling. That's when she got nervous. But the sheriff says he's miles away. And Mrs. Johnson says, well, he wouldn't come back to Collinsport because everyone knows him here. And then there's a knock at the door, and they look at each other like, Mrs. Johnson, are you expecting anyone? Liz, no. Open up the door. It's Joe Haskell. In corduroy. Him too. Oh my God. Why? He got that promotion at the cannery, or he got the raise anyway. And then he broke up with Carolyn, and then to celebrate, he bought the ugliest coat they make. Oh, was corduroy cheap? No, it wouldn't be cheap because Roger wears it. I don't know, but it's Roger, it's Sam, it's Joe. It needs to stop. Just not you two. But there it is. Like we have so many tragedies on the show just involving clothing, and then we have girls getting kidnapped. So nobody gets a break. Thomas Collins says one of our daughters was airlifted to UCLA and follow-ups at UCSF for the same thing. I'm a carpenter chick too. Okay. Yeah, those life flights. That's it's scary. But Joe's just yeah, your my landlady said you were needed to get in touch with me, and I haven't seen Carolyn in over a week. He says I'm the last person who would know where she is. And he's wearing a sweater too. It seems like corduroy is so heavy. Plus, he's got to wear a sweater. How cold? Like Joe's a healthy guy. Like, are you anemic? What's going on? But okay, he looks warm enough. You're on the set, dude. That would be hot. But anyway. So we go from Joe saying he's the last person who would know where Carolyn is. Then we're in Burke's room. There's Carolyn there with him. She's got this dress on. It's like a normal dress, just whatever, medium gray. But the thing is, it's got a bow right here for no reason. It like how you would tie a bow, like your shoes, like that. Like it's sewn onto the dress. It's there on purpose. Well with the strings of it that hang all the way almost down to the bottom. That's the only embellishment on this dress. I just okay, like it's not the ugliest thing you've ever seen, but it's like, why is that there? Does it have to be there? Would it be better without it? What's with this boat? Okay. There it is. A bow on the front of the dress for no reason. But they're having a good time, and Burke is saying how he thinks of her as a beautiful, desirable young woman. And he pours them some brandy. And Carolyn just, she acts like she's getting away with something. She didn't tell her mom or her Uncle Roger where she was going to be. And her mom was busy going over ledgers. I don't understand that kind of stuff. And she said, I'll just say I had dinner with Janet Fisher. They'll never check. And she's just tired of Liz and Roger screaming at her. The only thing they've been screaming at her about is Burke and where is she. So she makes these problems for herself and then damsels about it. So Burke says, did you tell Victoria about our date? Karen's like, no, she was too busy making plans of her own to spend the weekend with her new boyfriend, Frank Garner, up in Bangor. She says he's terribly handsome. That bothers you, doesn't it? And there's Burke trying to play it off. It doesn't concern me. He just says he thinks of Victoria as a nice little girl. And he's not Victoria. He's not jealous of Victoria and Frank. He says I'm more of it. Stuttering like I've been doing this for more than 2 hours. I'm more jealous of Joe Haskell. Carolyn's like, I haven't seen him in weeks. There we go, right there. Joe says it's been over a week since he's seen her. Now she's saying it's been weeks. Just unreliable narrator. Just whatever they think the amount of time has passed is what they say. They're not fact checking this stuff. So know that now for later when people are saying dates and things like that. They're like, well, I don't think you're quite paying attention, but Burke's like, hey, take off your shoes, get comfy. You want some more brandy? It tops up their glasses. And she does. She takes off her shoes and puts them on the coffee table. Oh. I know it's just renting, but damn, I'm not saying her feet look funky or nothing like that, but I'll take off my shoes, but I'm not going to put them, I wouldn't take off my shoes, but like, don't put your feet up on stuff. That's not your house. But in the living room, Liz, she gets worried. She's pacing. She's wringing her hands. She just can't. She can't do anything about it. So all she can do is worry and pace. But Liz is honestly more worried about Victoria than Carolyn, because she was supposed to meet her friend up in Bangor, but never arrived, and we know she left. And Carolyn wouldn't have driven her up to Bangor without telling Liz. This is what she's saying this to Joe. And Joe says, well, was she supposed to leave from the Collinsport Inn? Yeah, so it's like, hold on, gets on the phone, calls up, gets in touch with Maggie. Hey, you haven't seen Victoria up there, have you? Oh, okay, well, thanks. No, Maggie just said she's been there all day, hasn't seen Victoria at all. So there's Liz like, well, Carolyn wouldn't have worried about a dress just to drive Victoria somewhere. Joe says she might have had a date with someone else. Liz says, but with who? She looks at Joe. And he's looking at her. You know what they're thinking. He's like, I'll look for her if you want me to. Like, give me an excuse. Liz says, I know what you're thinking, and I hope you're wrong. Joe says, I hope I don't find her. He takes off. So over in Burke's room, like he's got his jacket off now, and he's all close to Carolyn. He's got his hand on her cheek and complimenting her soft skin. They're like this close. Carolyn says, I'm never sure if you mean what you say. Because I'm a Collins. Burke's like, no, my beef's with Roger, and you don't look anything like him. And then they start kissing. It's not like that first time where it was just the one kiss and then she left. Oh no, this looks like it's going to be the start of something. But there's a knock on the door. Who is it? Through the door, Joe Haskell. Is Carolyn there? So Carolyn, she's like, well, let him in. I wasn't looking for this. I was going back to look for something else, but I just happened to notice, Carolyn says, let him in. She grabs her drink. She's sitting back. She puts her legs up on the sofa. Ladies, always wear underwear on the set. It just, we don't see anything. Thankfully, she's covered. I'm not saying it's like Britney Spears getting out of a car kind of a shot, but it just, always wear your undergarments on the set, just in case you put your legs up on the couch in such a way that, yeah, you don't want to give anybody a free show. So please do that. And you can tell the actor's kind of just like, well, I can't take it back now. Just make sure my skirt's pulled down. So it's nothing vulgar or nothing like that. It's just like a blink and you'll miss it. But it's like, did I just see? Careful of that, please. This is the 60s. We can't do that. But she's sitting back chilling. She's got her drink. She's got her feet up. Like she wants Joe to see her when he walks in. Our arm on the back of the sofa with her drink and everything, like just chilling like a villain. Oh, Joe walks in, sees her, and just stops. It's like, oh, are you here to spy on me for my mother? Joe's like, I don't care what you do. I'm here because your mom's worried about you, and I think you should leave with me. Carolyn says, I'll leave when I want. Joe pauses for just a second. You know when you get a chance to tell somebody something, like he couldn't say this before, but he can say it now because they're really not that attached, but like, I'll leave when I want. And he pauses, he gets this look on his face. He says, when will that be? Tomorrow morning? Bruh! She doesn't like that. I thought it was hilarious. You know what? It's in his. You know, I don't think he's bad for saying that. Because the way she's spending time with that man, if it was modern times, I would have thought she would have already been in that dude's pants, or vice versa. So I don't think he's out of line for saying that, but the implications. LMFAO. So then he turns to Burke and he's like, yeah, wipe that lipstick off your face. That shade doesn't suit you. I mean, Burke's, just, yeah, you better go now. Joe says, not unless Carolyn comes with me. Carolyn's like, I'm staying. Burke, grabs his arm. You heard the lady. Joe, pulls his arm away. He punches dude in the face. Just hits him in the jaw. It's a punch, and so like Burke is not. He's looking this way, so when he gets punched, he kind of lands, so like we can see the camera, or the camera can see him. He got him good. But then Burke turns around and punches him back. He gets him in the face, hits him in like the chest, kind of stomach area. Joe falls back onto the coffee table, kind of, sort of. I think the actor was able to catch himself, but it really does look like he hits the table and just falls onto the floor. Carolyn gets up and gets in the way and stops him. Whoa, this dude, both of these guys got at least 6 inches on her. They're full grown men. She's about the size of me. Maybe weighs just a little bit more. I'm not calling her fat or anything. But personally, if I'm watching 2 dudes fight that are bigger than me, I don't got a weapon or nothing like that. I'm just sitting back with my cocktail. This is a free show. Like, whoever wins, oh well. They're both adult, and nobody's gonna kill anybody. Just again, free show. I've got a drink, so ooh. There's no TV in the room, but she breaks it up. One to go to you upskirt, just like, don't put your leg. And it's an honest mistake, so it wasn't anything raunchy or nothing like that. Carolyn stops him. Joe kind of backs off. He's like, that's okay. You're not worth fighting over. I'm only here because of Victoria. Burke's like, Victoria? Why? What's up with her? Joe's like, well, she's disappeared. We thought she was with Carolyn. And Carolyn's like, she's not missing. She's in Bangor with Frank. Joe's like, nope, she never got off of the bus, but she never even got on the bus. Burke's like, we're going to Collinwood. You know, he put your shoes on, Carolyn. He puts his coat on. Man, that guy did a 180. Well, we're back in the living room. It's that Frank's on the phone. No Victoria yet. No news. No nothing. Thomas calling, yeah, that's all you can do. You're not worth fighting for. They've already done broke up. It's not like he's gonna win her back by socking this dude in the face a few more times. So it's Joe does have a temper on him. Once he like you can push him so far. Once you set him off, he goes. So he went. But Liz hangs up and she's. Or no, while she's on the phone to Frank, she's like, "What do you think? I oughta, call the cops?" But she hears the door open, like, "Oh, I'll call you back." Hangs up, goes from the foyer, and there's Joe and Burke and Carolyn, and Liz is just, "Oh, you were with him." Carolyn says, "That's right." So Liz says to Joe, she sees him like, "Well, what happened to you? What happened to your face?" Joe's, I lost my temper." Burke's like, "Never mind that. Well, what about Victoria?" So Liz tells Carolyn to go up to her room, and she kind of protests, but then she says goodnight to Burke, just looks at Joe, and goes upstairs. And Liz is like, "Well, I'm going to speak to you, Burke." He's like, "Well, I want to speak to you, too." So they go in the living room, and Joe's just kind of left standing there. Carolyn's upstairs. They're in the other room, just, ugh. So he hangs his coat up on that hook that we can't see by the front door. Well, he goes to it. It's like he's trying to just drop his coat on the hook, but he misses, and it falls on Victoria's bag. So he just picks his coat up, hangs it up, goes into the living room. So we're in the living room, and Liz is telling Burke to leave Carolyn alone. Burke says, "I'm not talking about Carolyn. I'm here to help you find Victoria." And somebody behind the camera is knocking over cups. I don't know what's going on back there, if they're setting up for another scene, but it sounds like they're knocking over teacups. Gotta love that kind of stuff. But Liz says, Matthew and Victoria are missing. Oh, no, wait, I'm sorry. Burke says, well, Matthew and Victoria are missing. We just, forget our personal differences. Joe, get in here. See, now Joe's taken off his coat. He's just wearing that sweater. He looks good in that sweater. That's really a nice look on him. I've not gone on about his looks too much. Again, my favorite actor's not on the show yet. He's a good-looking guy. He looks good in that sweater. I don't know what color it is, but he's wearing it well. You don't need that coat. But anyway, the wet bar is not in the shot. That's basically where Joe's standing. If a wet bar is where you serve drinks, then what is a dry bar? Like a sandbar? Anyway, shower thoughts when you're not in the shower. But Liz is saying that she'd seen Victoria last at 4 p.m. and she knows she left because her suitcase is gone. Joe says, "What's it look like?" Liz is like, "Well, a red plaid. Why?" Joe's like, well, there's one there in the foyer behind the door. Liz says, "What?" So Joe, walks over there, brings it back in, and she shows it to him. They're kind of staring at it the way that should not be here. Burke even says that she never left Collinwood. And we see the living room for the credits. We can see up the stairs, or there's that tapestry hanging up on the wall. So yeah, that is where we'll call it for this round of episodes. It might run a little bit long. back, but it's gonna be just over 2 hours when I get this, or when when I finish. Yeah. So got a mystery going on here. I don't believe I've ever had so many technical difficulties, but a lot of those I just had to private or delete to get to where we are now. So, yeah, again, the Thursday show is up in the air for, quite frankly. I'll wait till he says something Monday, but I might use that day to work instead of going live. Not sure right now. I'll wait and see how I feel about it then, but other than that, just expect to be back here next week. We'll do some more reviewing stuff. And then we'll definitely have some more time together later in the month with the holidays coming up for you guys. But I'm so happy you guys were able to hang out with me for a couple of hours on a Saturday. You guys make all of the hassles with the technical difficulties worth it. I hope it was fun. So everybody, get some good sleep, get something to eat, smoke out on the balcony. You can watch Dark Shadows on Tubi right now for free. Link in the description for the channel and for the show. It's also on Internet Archive. All of that is free. The shirt is Gray Still Plays Not Today Satan. Link in the description. Not affiliated. I just dig what that guy does. And I'll definitely be seeing you guys in a chat room next week. So everybody take it easy, stay warm. I love seeing everybody. Thanks for the super chats. That goes to myself for coffee and calories. Danny says, great night, night all. Yeah, thanks for being here. Thanks for being Franklies and being based and sexy and all that good stuff. And fingers crossed the next episode will just be done in 2 hours on time. We'll see. We'll see. Who knows? Thomas Collins says, I hope you have a street kid you can trust. Yeah, well, what's that kid from Dick Tracy? When do we eat? Do we eat now? That kid. I know what that's like. So yeah, I love you guys again. You guys are the best for sticking with me through the technical difficulties. I love seeing everybody. Yeah, just a good night, good fight. Until next time.